Are you considering ISO or API certification, but wondering if you should hire a consultant or go at it alone? Doing it yourself can save money, no doubt, but it could also lead to delays, costly mistakes, and endless stress. On the other hand, the right consultant could streamline the process, save you time, and ensure your certification journey is smooth and successful. Stick around to learn how to make the best decision for your business. In this video, we'll tackle the 3 questions every company faces when they decide to pursue ISO or API certification. Do you really need a consultant, or can you go without one? Is it possible to get certified yourself with your internal team, and what does that look like? How long will it take, and how much time and effort will it cost if you decide to handle it on your own? Whether you're on the fence about hiring help or you're ready to dive in solo, we've got the answers to help you make the best decision for your business. So let's get started. Imagine you have decided to build a house. Big project, right? You could take it on yourself, like creating the blueprints, researching, sourcing materials, hiring contractors, and learning as you go, no doubt. It is possible, right? But how much time and effort will it take? And what happens if you make a mistake, like you miss a critical step, securing a permit, or even laying the proper foundation? That will be terrible, right? Hiring a professional contractor may cost more upfront, ensures a solid structure, completed faster, and with less stress. Complete, maybe not zero stress, but at least significantly less. The same thing is true really for ISO or API certification. If you think about it, this is like implementing a whole structure in your company. So it's very important. It's entirely possible to go solo, but the journey can be also very long, very stressful, and very costly if mistakes are made, and that's entirely possible. In this video, we'll guide you through what it takes to go at it alone, the role of a consultant, and how to decide what is right for your business. Do you really need a consultant for ISO or API certification? The short answer is no. You don't need a consultant to achieve ISO or API certification. In fact, many companies successfully attain certification on their own by appointing their own internal employees to handle these tasks. However, the implications of going solo can lead to setbacks if resources are stretched too thin or you really lack in the expertise. These drawbacks often outweigh any cost savings from not hiring a consultant. Let's explore this with a story that shows the challenges and the benefits of both approaches. The Lonar Equipment Company. Lonar Equipment is a new player in the oil field equipment manufacturing industry, and they have decided to pursue not one but 2 certifications, API Q1 and ISO 9001 certification, because they want to expand their market reach. You know, API Q1 and ISO 9001 are both quality management systems, so the CEO David thought, what the heck, let's just go for both of them. So David assigned the task to his operations manager, Kyle, who had a strong manufacturing background, but not really any prior experience with ISO or API. So let's look at the scenario of going solo, right? Kyle began the project by ordering copies of the ISO 9001 and API Q1 standards and dedicated evenings and weekends to learning the requirements. Excellent first step. He ordered the standards and he started learning about it. Really good. Then he actually spent weeks creating a project plan and even arranged company-wide training to educate all the employees on the standard. Again, another excellent step, right? He created a project plan, trained everybody, pretty good, on point. However, challenges quickly surface. First of all, knowledge gaps. Kyle really struggled to interpret complex clauses in the standards, especially in API Q1, which has a lot of industry-specific requirements. We'll see a lot more about the interpretation on this standard is quite hard. Next, resource constraints. So Kyle had to balance, his regular duties and the certification project, which meant delays in the production production schedule sometimes, and growing frustration among his employees because Kyle was sometimes not answering their questions or even responding to emails because he was busy trying to learn and put together the project for the ISO and API certification. And the last area here was the team pushback. Despite the training that Kyle provided, employees maybe misunderstood the roles in the implementation. Perhaps some things were not clear, and so that caused delay also in the ISO API project. Well, Kyle was faithful, he kept working, but months turned into a year, and while Kyle eventually built a system, a quality management system, it really had a lot of inefficiencies and gaps. When they conducted internal audit, it revealed multiple non-conformities, and even more so when the external audit results came about. It had significant major findings that needed and required corrections, costing Lone Star really time and money. Now, let's look at the approach of hiring a consultant in the same company, actually. After the challenging external audit, David, the CEO, brought in a consultant. The consultant was well-versed in ISO and API standards, and luckily, it was a good consultant. So the consultant quickly assessed the gaps at Lone Star, which had been pointed out already in the internal audit and the external audit, and he worked on closing those gaps with each department to make sure they were all addressed. His expert guidance also was helpful. The consultant tailored the implementation to Lone Star processes, ensuring compliance without really unnecessary complexities or added burdens. And then time savings, the tasks that took Kyle months to do, like creating procedures or preparing for the audits, were really completed in weeks using the knowledge and expertise from the consultant. And reduce stress. Employees felt more confident with the consultant's clear explanation and targeted training, and leading to better collaboration amongst everybody. So in just 4 months, Lone Star passed the external audit with flying colors, and David realized that while the consultant's fee was an upfront cost, the time and resources saved made it really worthwhile investment. So what are the pros and cons of each approach? Let's look at those. Going solo, pros. Well, there is definitely a lower upfront cost, right? Because aside from buying the standards, which really they could add up, but not really more than maybe $500 for a couple of standards. Aside from that, and perhaps the online training that Kyle may have taken, the rest was just the same employees doing more work. Greater internal involvement and ownership. Of course, Kyle called on all managers and involved all employees to help in many of the decisions, so maybe sometimes he has too much involvement. Needless to say, everyone felt like they were part of this project. So those were some of the pros. Now let's look at the cons. Significant time investment. The project took longer than expected, and Kyle even put long hours and weekends to get the project done. Not all employees may be the same. You may appoint somebody who does not do that, and so in that case, the project could turn, instead of 1 year, into 2 or more years. Higher risk also of misinterpretation. The standard is just not clear-cut. So one sentence actually could mean a whole page of things to do, and worse yet, one page of things to do could be interpreted 10 different ways by 10 different auditors or consultants or experienced people. So this could definitely be overwhelming, and the problem is an internal person may tend to overthink things and over-implement or totally miss the point. In essence, they might really just do more than what they need to, or not do enough, or really just not even do something if they do not understand. And then there is the potential delays on achieving certification. A seasoned consultant who has done this several times in multiple industries should definitely know the shortcuts to achieve an excellent results with less effort. I will say that in my career, I have completed many ISO and API implementation projects and have seen a lot of management systems, and I have been asked lots of questions, and I even have interacted with clients who did not want to do a certain requirement a certain way and kind of challenge me, and I had to think outside the box and be creative to make sure that the requirements were implemented while satisfying the client's need, add value to their company. So, all right, so that was the pros and cons of going solo. Let's look at the pros and cons of hiring a consultant. One of the pros is faster implementation. So unless your consultant wants a full-time job, their goal should be, let's get you certified and let's move on to the next project. Really, at least that's our goal in our own consulting firm, is really just to help a company get certified and then we are done, on to the next project. Helping a company is really our service, so we want to get it done and get it done on time. Now, the other pro of hiring a consultant is just reduce burden on internal staff. Again, I have to add a disclaimer. Unless you hire an inexperienced or lazy consultant, or a consultant who has too many jobs and basically just tells you what to do, but they are not really doing anything, then your consultant should be helping a lot in the creation or review of the procedures or the implementation of the programs. In our practice, we aim to be hands-on, not just telling you about what to do, but also actually maybe helping you do some of the work. And we also provide a technical writer, for example, who focuses on the writing, because there is definitely going to be a lot of writing. Another pro of hiring a consultant is the access to the expertise across multiple standards and industries. A consultant should definitely be familiar with various industries, should have gone through various cases, and also probably knows more than one standard, and so definitely should be able to help you streamline or integrate multiple standards if that's what you're doing. And also there's higher likelihood of passing the audits on the first try. As you're being provided a service, you should demand that the service is completed a certain day and with a certain results, obviously, in this case being certified. However, certification really depends also a lot on you. It is possible that if the results are not achieved, the consultant could blame it on you. Nevertheless, if you hire a good consultant, chances are you should be able to achieve certification on time. All right, so what are the cons of hiring a consultant? Definitely there's upfront costs, right? Because you're going to have to pay this additional person to help you. But also the selection. It requires a careful selection to find the right consultant. And that is a challenge on itself, because you need to know why this consultant is better than the other. And at the beginning, they all might seem good, but it's really the ones with the results and the ones that are gonna be around for a long time, because by next year you might need another audit, or in 2 years the standard might change. So you want a long-standing consultant that will be there when you need them. So whether you choose to go solo or hire a consultant, it depends on your resources, your timeline, and your expertise. If you have a strong internal team with a strong knowledge and background on ISO or API standards, and you have ample time, then taking on the ISO or API certification solo, independently, can work, although it means that it will require some effort from your team. If time is critical, on the other hand, or if you lack the in-house expertise, then hiring a consultant can expedite the process and ensure success without unnecessary stress. So just like hiring a contractor to build your house, the right consultant can save you time, effort, and long-term costs, delivering a system that meets your certification goals. No matter which path you choose, having the right mindset, commitment, and support from leadership is also very important. Now that you understand the pros and cons of going solo versus hiring a consultant, it's time to take the next step in your ISO API certification journey. So if you're considering going the DIY route, do it yourself, start by reviewing the requirements of your chosen standard and assess whether your internal resources can handle the workload effectively. If you're thinking about hiring a consultant, reach out to us for a free consultation. We'll discuss your company's unique needs and show you how we can simplify and accelerate the certification process.